it's the War Hipster here, coming at you with another Contrast Plus painting tutorial, and today we are painting the brand new Grimhold Exile from Fury's Flame Bearers, the new Dawnbringer model as part of the Dawnbringers Part 1 Regiments of Renown, sent to me early by Games Workshop, so a massive thank you to them. I'm really excited to paint this one, and we're going to dive right in. He has been primed in Wraithbone, and the colour we're going to be using first is, and it would be rude not to, a roughly 4 parts Fyreslayer Flesh to 1 part Contrast Medium. And this is just to improve the flow a little bit so that we can make sure that we get all of his skin done in kind of one fell swoop. And that is exactly where we're going to be starting on all of the flesh. So we just want to get this over the top of all of these areas, because he is a Fyreslayer and they are quite nude. So we're just going to get this over the top of all of his skin, all the way around. And then once that's done, we shall return. And so with all that Fyreslayer Flesh and Contrast Medium mix applied, it would only be right to take a roughly 3 parts Gryph-Hound Orange to 1 part Fyreslayer Flesh. And we're going to apply this over the top of his hair and his beard. So with that done, well, he's finished. You can just put him to one side. He's done. No, he's not. So what we're going to do is move on now. I'm going to take some Black Legion. I'm going to apply this over quite a few different details. So we've got areas such as the leather of his belt. We've got the wraps around his feet and around his hands. We've got the handles of his hammers. We've got the couple of little sort of ties and things in his beard. So with now that done, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Sigvald Burgundy and we're going to apply this over the top of his clothes. So with that done, just whilst we're waiting for the Sigvald Burgundy to dry, what we're going to do is we're going to take 4 colours and we're going to apply these over the flames on the hammers. Now the 4 colours are going to be Imperial Fist, Gryph-Hound Orange, Blood Angels Red, and Black Legion. And what we're going to do is we're going to blend these all on the model whilst it's all still wet. So we're going to take some Imperial Fist first, and we're going to apply this over the top of the entirety of the flame. And this will be a pretty thick coat here, just to sustain all of the extra mixing that we're going to be doing. So once we've got all of that Imperial Fist on there, like that, what we're then going to do is wash the brush and grab some Gryph-Hound Orange. Then we're going to apply this over the top of roughly about 2/3, maybe a little bit more. Wash the brush, grab a little bit of Blood Angels Red, and then we're going to apply this like that over the bottom third. And then we're going to wash the brush one more time, grab a little bit of Black Legion, and add this to the tips of the flame. Then we're just going to wash the brush. Then we're just going to start kind of running it over the brush, running the brush over the details to just kind of move all those paints together and smooth out any awkward transitions that you may or may not have. Like that. Simple as that, really. And then we're just going to replicate this on the other side. So Imperial Fist goes on there first. You'll notice that it starts to draw in paint from the other side, which isn't a terrible thing. Then I'm going to take that Gryph-Hound Orange. Apply it all over. Wash the brush. A little bit of Blood Angels Red. Like that. Wash the brush. A little bit of Black Legion. Wash the brush one more time. Then we're just going to move those paints together. Seeing as we're now waiting for those flames to dry, but the clothes are now dry, what we can do is we can take some Blood Angels Red, and we're going to apply this over the top. Give us this gorgeous deep red. So with that all done, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Retributor Armour. And we're going to apply this over the top of all of his fancy stuff. He's got lots of fancy stuff. He's got this kind of large belt buckle, as well as the bits that come along here. He's got the runes in his skin, little clasps in his beard, his headgear. Lots and lots of gold. So with all of that Retributor Armour applied, we're now going to take some thinned down Leadbelcher, and we're going to apply this to the remaining details. So with that done, it is now time to add some shades to the model, and the first one is going to be some Gryph-Hound Orange. And what we're going to do is we're going to take small amounts of this here, and we're going to apply this over the top of the beard and the hair. We don't need loads here. We just want to get this on there to just make that hair and beard even more orange than it already is. So with that done, I'm then going to take some Fuegan Orange. I'm going to use this to shade the flames. With that now done, I'm going to take some Nuln Oil. I'm going to use this to shade the silver and the black. And so with that all done, we're then going to take some Guilliman Flesh and we're going to apply this over the top of all the gold. So with that done, our Grimhold Exile is now what I would call a War Hipster battle ready. And he's already looking fabulous. However, we're not going to leave him there. No, of course not. We're going to take him to the next level. I'm going to do this by adding some layers and some highlights. Now the first one we're going to add is some thinned down Cadian Fleshtone. And we're going to be using this over the flats of all of his muscles and his face. And we're doing this just to kind of smooth them out and brighten them out a little bit. We're looking to avoid anywhere where we've got some really nice shading from our Fyreslayer Flesh layer earlier. And create that lovely definition that we're after. Just like that, on the knee. And so with that now done, we're going to take a roughly 2 parts Kislev Flesh to 1 part Cadian Fleshtone mix. We're basically going to do pretty much the same thing. Only what we're going to do is we're going to do this over the kind of upwards facing prominent muscles. So for example, around there on the leg. Like that. And we've got this one here as well. And then we've got the kneecap as well. Like that. We're looking to create slightly brighter spots around his flesh. And so with that done, just before we apply the final highlight, what we're going to do is we're going to take a roughly 5 parts Lahmian Medium to 1 part Carroburg Crimson. I'm going to use this to add a little bit of extra colour into the recesses around his muscles. So we're just looking to add a little bit of pinkness. But not too much. And so with that now done, we're going to take a little bit of Flayed One Flesh. I'm going to use this to pick out the sharpest points across his face and around his muscles as well. So with that all done, the skin is looking pretty fantastic. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some Black Legion now. And we're going to apply this over the top of his eyeballs. And with that Black Legion applied, we then want to take a really diddy amount of Screaming Skull. And we want to apply this in the corners of each of his eyes. I'm going to do one on the left hand side and one on the left hand side here as well. Give him that perspective that he's looking this way. So with that done, the skin and the face is now all finished. And it's looking pretty cool. However, it's now time to move on. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Fyreslayer Orange. I'm going to use this to highlight his beard. Now it might not appear like it's doing very much, but it is going to add a little bit more warmth into the orange. And so with that now done, we're going to take some Bestigor Flesh. I'm going to use this to just pick out the really kind of sharp bits in the beard and the tips of the hair. So we're just going for like the braids. Just like that sort of thing. So with that all done, the main two colours of him are now finished. So we're going to move on, and we're going to move on to the black. I'm going to take some thinned down Russ Grey here. I'm going to use this to highlight them. So with that now done, we can move on again to the red. And what we're going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Mephiston Red. I'm just going to use this to pick out the edges. He's already very bright, so we don't need to do too much on these other details. So that now done, it is time to move on to the metallics, and we're going to take some thinned down Liberator Gold. I'm going to use this to highlight all the gold. So with that Liberator Gold all applied, we're then going to take some thinned down Iron Breaker, and we're going to use this to pick out the gems. So we've got the ones on the bases of the hammer, and these two here in his beard. And we're also going to, of course, use this to highlight all the silver. And so with that Iron Breaker all applied, we're then going to take some Akhelian Green. I'm going to apply this over the top of the gems. So with that done, our Grimhold Exile is now finished, and all that's left to do is his base. And well, you can do this however you like. However, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some Ratling Grime. I'm going to apply this over the top of all of the stonework. And with that done, we're then going to take some Black Templar and apply this over the top of the soil and over the vine. And so with that Black Templar all applied, we're then going to take some Blood Angels Red, and we're going to apply this over the top of the negative space around the base. And so once all of that Blood Angels Red is dry, we're then going to take some Mordant Earth. And I'm going to apply this over the top of all of that red. Because this is a crackle paint, it will crack up nicely. And what you want to do when using a crackle paint is, the thicker you put on, the bigger the cracks will be. So you can apply it quite liberally for some really big cracks. We can quite put it on there quite thinly. For very little effect of it. So with that all dried, as you can see, it's crackled up nicely. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some Evil Sunz Scarlet, and we're going to very gently dry brush this now over the top, just to really reinforce that volcanic nature. And we're just going to do this over the top of the crackled bits. We don't want to do this over the rest of the base. As you can see, it really brings out that redness. Just like that. And so with that done, we're then going to take some Administratum Grey, and we're going to dry brush just a little bit over the top of the black areas down at the bottom. Not too much, but what we are mostly going to do is we're going to dry brush this over the top of the rock. and the dirt just back here. And this will just unify things a little bit. See that mixture of rock and lava, red and fire.
So with his volcanic base now done, the Grimhold Exile is ready to meet the foe in Akshi. It's really, really cool model. I like it a lot. I think the Fyreslayers need a little bit more. Like, quite a lot more. They're just a really cool range, but they're just lacking a few things, which is fine. They just need a few more extra stuff. And that's great, because we like extra stuff around here. We like more models. All of the time. If you enjoyed this video, you love the channel, and you'd like to support me further, you absolutely can do so. Head to patreon.com/warhipster, just like these bosses have done, scrolling up on the screen before you, whose continued support helps me continue to make all the wonderful content that you enjoy. Alternatively, you could become a YouTube channel member by clicking on the join button on the channel page or just below this video, like these wonderful, amazing people have done. And if you really like this video and you just want to shoot me a little thanks, you can click on the thanks button just below this video. Don't forget to share it, like it, comment on it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And to make sure you stay up to date, don't forget to click the bell icon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon in the next one. Happy wargaming.